Hey, Alexa, define Space Jam.
Did you mean Space Jam? A delicious condiment produced in the sweet and sour regions of the Milky Way. Perfect on top of hotcakes or for dipping chicken nuggets.
Oh, gross, no.
Did you mean Space Jam? A cosmic celebration taking place during the 24th and a half century on the mysterious planet X.
No, that sounds cool though. But what can you tell me about the movie?
Space Jam. A cinematic masterpiece recounting the true story of how a basketball titan would combine forces with some of animation's greatest heroes to create the Toon Squad, defeat some extremely dangerous aliens, and entertain audiences the world over.
Space Jam.
Actually, I was thinking about that sequel banking on people's nostalgia for the original film in order to make a quick cash grab and give us an excuse to experience yet another amazing Happy Meal at your local McDonald's.
Own your style like a champ with a toy from Space Jam, a new legacy, rated PG.
Welcome to another exciting episode of McDonald's Unboxed, where we uncover the truth behind the fast food chain's promotional tie-in. In today's video, we'll be getting together Bugs, Daffy, and the entire gang to celebrate an all-new McDonald's Happy Meal based on the film Space Jam, a new legacy. Now, if you could do us one favor before we get started, go ahead and like this video. And if this is your first time checking us out, why not supersize your experience by subscribing to Retro Spectrum? The art of animation experienced its first golden age during the 1920s. Men like Hugh Harman and Rudolph Ising worked alongside Disney to develop a signature style used on characters like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. However, Hugh was not a big fan of Walt, so when Harman and Ising left Disney's Laugh-O-Gram Studios, the goal was to create their own studios that rivaled what Walt Disney was doing. Warner Brothers Studios was so impressed with what the two men were working on that they brought them in to help establish Warner Brothers Animation in the early 30s.
The first major Looney Tunes star debuted in 1935. Can anyone guess who I'm talking about? If you guessed Bugs Bunny, you'd be wrong. Porky Pig debuted in the short I Haven't Got a Hat, reciting the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, the best that he could.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
2 years later, Porky encountered a kooky quack named Daffy.
It's me again.
1940 wasn't just a banner year for animation, it was also an important milestone for the food industry. The first McDonald's opened on May 15th. That same year, the Looney Tunes' official mascot, Bugs Bunny, appeared on the screen. A few months later, Bugs encountered a simple-minded antagonist by the name of Elmer Fudd.
In 1942, we met Tweety Bird and that bad-widowed putty-tat, Sylvester. Bugs encountered Yosemite Sam for the first time in 1945, and a spunky skunk with a French accent started looking for love in all the wrong places.
Okay, basketball fans, we haven't forgotten about you, because on June 6, 1946, the National Basketball Association was founded.
Between 1946 through 1955, Warner Brothers introduced audiences to several new characters in the Looney Tune lineup, including Foghorn Leghorn, Marvin the Martian, the Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote. One of my personal favorites, the Tasmanian Devil, and Speedy Gonzales.
What's the matter, amigos? You missed me, huh?
Now let's fast forward to the year 1963. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was born in Brooklyn, New York. Throughout his childhood and into his early adulthood, Jordan seemed to have a knack for athletics. He'd play football, baseball, and of course, basketball. He was so good at basketball, in fact, that during his senior year of high school, he was selected to play in 1981's McDonald's All-Star Game, an event highlighting some of the nation's most talented athletes prepping to leave high school.
That's pretty impressive, but 1 year prior, McDonald's had already been scouting out a certain mad-capped mallard to appear in his own Easter special on NBC.
That's better. Wait a minute. On second thought, I think I'll stay in here till next Easter.
After some time spent at the University of North Carolina, Michael Jordan was selected to join the Chicago Bulls during the 1984 NBA Draft. That same year, Jordan helped take home gold for the American Olympic basketball team in the Summer Olympic Games.
Basketball fans may also be interested to know that LeBron James was born in December of '84. In 1985, Michael Jordan was named Rookie of the Year, and Nike released the gold standard of athletic footwear, the Air Jordan.
And shortly thereafter, the NBA banned the shoe.
Wait, what?
It's true. The National Basketball Association had something called the 51% rule, where 51% of a player's shoes had to be white.
That's lame. How do you even measure something like that?
You got me. But the controversy certainly didn't hurt the sales of the shoe. People still flocked to stores in order to pick up the $65 pair of shoes. In 1987, McDonald's reached out to Michael Jordan to help them out with a certain well-known, some would say infamous, anti-drug campaign.
When you're using drugs, you're only cheating yourself out of the chance to find out who you really can be. And believe me, if you don't use drugs, you can just about be anything you want to be.
Afterwards, Jordan stopped off at his regular place, McDonald's, to grab a big breakfast and a hot egg McMuffin.
There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Not to be outdone, Kentucky Fried Chicken brought in their own celebrity spokesperson to help garner attention to the brand.
Must be losing my touch.
In '88, the NBA selected Michael Jordan as their most valuable player for the first time, beating out his friendly rivals, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
And speaking of rivals, this was around the same time that the Looney Tunes would put aside their 55-year-old rivalry with the Walt Disney Company, appearing in the live-action animation hybrid known as Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I love that movie.
I know you do.
It was so cool seeing your favorite animated characters meet, like Daffy and Donald squaring off on the piano.
Does anybody understand what this duck is saying?
The movie was so well received that Touchstone Pictures even considered a sequel in which audiences would have discovered that Roger Rabbit's father was, in fact, Bugs Bunny.
Oddly enough, that makes sense.
McDonald's featured Roger Rabbit's supersized cups in 1988, and then 59-cent Looney Tune collectibles 1 year later.
Then in 1990, we were all introduced to Steven Spielberg's Tiny Toon Adventures.
Yeah, Warner Brothers must have really liked the work that Spielberg had done on Roger Rabbit. The Tiny Toons were really his idea.
They were the next generation of Looney Tunes, meant to help breathe life into the Warner Brothers animation department.
And it worked. It wouldn't be long until the Tiny Toons would have their own adventure at your local McDonald's. Michael Jordan helped the U.S. Olympic basketball team win gold once again in 1992, and the rest of us made sure to visit McDonald's to pick up one of those Dream Team cups with our favorite player's face on them. The
Looney Tunes were pretty active at McDonald's in '92 as well, first appearing in the Super Looney Tunes Happy Meal.
Those were awesome. Bugs as Superman, Daffy as Batman, and the Tasmanian Devil as Flash.
Don't forget Petunia Pig as Wonder Woman.
Plus, Shaquille O'Neal as Steel.
It's hammer time.
I think you're getting your wires crossed.
Probably. I'm exhausted from practicing my Shaq Fu.
McDonald's also released some Looney Tunes plush during the holiday season, then another Looney Tunes Happy Meal in '93.
That same year, the world stood still as Michael Jordan retired from basketball.
For the first time. But that doesn't mean he gave up the sport altogether. He still had time to team up with a certain animated rabbit.
Air Jordan and Air Jordan.
What'd you expect?
Elmer Fudd?
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
This floors him every time. Yoo-hoos! Nice shorts. This could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
In 1994, Jordan decided to dabble in professional baseball, playing for the Chicago White Sox. And you know what else? That same year, the Animaniacs got their own Happy Meal. Jordan would return to the NBA in 1995 and teamed up with McDonald's and the Looney Tunes, bringing us the Michael Jordan McBacon Deluxe. It's obvious that Jordan loved McDonald's, but he must have really liked the Looney Tunes as well, because in 1996, Warner Brothers brought us what would become the gold standard of cinema in the 1990s.
I'm not sure what that says about the 90s.
Space Jam, another film that combined animation and live action, just like Roger Rabbit, but this time, instead of the Looney Tunes interacting with Disney characters, they'd encounter NBA greats like Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Bill Murray.
You go to the hole and dominate. We on defense.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, I don't play defense.
And of course, his airness, Michael Jordan. Jordan and the Looney Tunes have to defeat a group of evil aliens known as the Nerdlucks in a game of basketball.
And don't be deceived by their diminutive stature. They have the ability to steal the talents of anyone they come into contact with. Don't believe me? Just ask the Teen Titans.
Booyah, dude.
The Nerdlucks weren't the only new characters we were introduced to. On the surface, you might think that Lola Bunny is nothing more than just Bug's female counterpart, but in fact, she's a tough-talking, no-nonsense athlete.
And don't ever call her doll.
Doll? On the court.
Bugs. Sure.
Ready?
Yes. I got it.
The film was pretty well received, especially with children, so it should come as no surprise to learn that McDonald's would release a special Space Jam themed Happy Meal. Alright, so here is Bugs Bunny from the original Space Jam Happy Meal collection, and you can see they actually have these little grooves, these little like puzzle pieces, so you can put all of your figures together, and the wheel on bottom helps it to spin around.
Look at that.
So it's almost like a parade. If you can put all these things together, you can have them all kind of spinning if you get them in the right direction. So this is pretty cool. I like this. It's the main mascot for the Looney Tunes. But I do have a new one inside the box, and we're going to check out what exactly the toy we received is. Space Jam, toy number 5, and it looks to be...
Oh wow, that's
It's
awesome.
a Tasmanian devil. All right. Let's check this out. Okay, so here he is, Taz, the Tasmanian devil. And you can see what I like about him is you don't even see his legs. He just has kind of like the tornado going around him, and he spins.
And he looks like he's about to dunk.
Yeah, he spins around the basketball hoop. Just kind of another cool toy. And again, the cool part is that you can roll these guys around.
And they hook together.
That's true, but let's see how they roll around when they're put together.
So it's not a perfect science.
It's not perfect at all. They don't really move all that well, but
They
you
spin
know,
a little.
they look good.
Yeah. Didn't they also have a Space Jam meal for adults?
They sure did. It was a barbecue bacon quarter pounder with medium fries and a soft drink. Plus, you could snag one of 7 Space Jam plush for $2.99, while supplies last, of course. After defeating the Nerdlucks, Michael Jordan continued to play basketball until 1999, when he retired for a second time, then came back to the NBA in 2001 before retiring for a third and final time in 2003.
You know, that's the same year that the Looney Tunes returned to the big screen in Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Plus, the legendary LeBron James joined the NBA that year, playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He must be pretty good because in July of 2021, he'll be taking over for Jordan as part of the Toon Squad in Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I'm excited to check out this all-new movie.
I'm excited to check out this all-new Happy Meal. All right, who do you think we got?
I have no idea. There's so many possibilities.
Oh, it's LeBron James.
Wow.
That's an interesting one. Not an actual Looney Tunes, but LeBron James in cartoon form. All right, so here he is, LeBron James. And you know what? It's cool because he's in animated form, and he's got a little bit of articulation to it, a little bit of action. You'll notice there's a switch.
Oh my goodness.
And when you switch it back and forth, he'll pass the ball back and forth. Not a ton of action, but it is kind of neat. What's the other thing you notice about him? I'm kind of put off by his eyeballs on this one. This is him in cartoon form.
It is. I mean, tattoos and all.
Yeah, which is kind of cool that they kept the tattoos for a Happy Meal toy.
Right.
But his eyes are a little bit awkward, a little bit strange, but it is cool to see him in animated form. And I'm wondering, is he Bugs Bunny's sidekick?
Is he?
Robin? I'm freaking Robin? And why are we chasing a runaway train?
We're in DC world, Doc. And where there's trouble, there's superheroes.
Now, we hope you enjoyed experiencing the all-new McDonald's Happy Meal featuring characters from the film Space Jam. Now, we'd like to hear from you.
Do you remember the original Space Jam, and what do you think about the film?
Also, who is your all-time favorite Looney Tunes character? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing to Retro Spectrum so you don't miss a single episode of McDonald's Unboxed.
Go home, folks.